Chris Yandeck, CYInterview, covering Las Vegas and the world. It would occur to me that there are three general areas of importance that all intersect in our lives. Our health, which is both our physical health and mental health. Secondly is our relationships, and I'm not just talking about love. Last but not least, the final area I would term career and finances. Today we welcome three accomplished individuals and women in their own area. Today we'll discuss the topics of improving one's health, how we can maintain good and healthy relationships, and how these women have and will continue to accomplish many things in the business world. Here are today's guests. First, we welcome back to CYInterview Liz Vassey. She is a famous actor, a person with long successful trajectory in TV. She also is the filmmaker behind the inspirational running documentary, The Human Race, which can now be seen on Amazon Prime Video. Also famously, you know her from the popular TV show CSI in Las Vegas. Recently, she got certified as a nutritional coach. How exciting that is, Liz. Thanks for being back with us on CYInterview. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing really well. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for being here, Liz. Secondly, welcome back to CYInterview, personal trainer, fitness competitor, and Instagram star Lesley Maxwell. She demonstrates staying in shape and what's possible, and that we all have the ability to accomplish things. Lesley resides in Australia. You can find her on Instagram at lesliemaxwell.fitness, where she has over 140,000 followers. Lesley, thanks for being back on CYInterview today. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on here. Lovely to meet everyone.
Love seeing you back here, Lesley. And finally, Ashton Bray, who is the performance director and member of the famous female revue here in Las Vegas, Fantasy. She is a talented dancer and embodies a person who is a productive member of society. One of Las Vegas' shining stars. You can see her 6 nights a week at the Luxor Hotel and Casino. They perform nightly. Fantasy. Ashton, thanks for being back again on CYInterview. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, we're always happy to see you, Ashton, and anyone from Las Vegas, of course, where we both reside. Liz, I'm going to start with your documentary, The Human Race, is an inspiring story on the joy of running at any age. Again, you can see it on Amazon Prime Video right now. Everyone should go see it. You just got certified as a nutritional coach. Tell me about your thoughts on the importance of health and why you now are a nutritional coach as well.
Well, first of all, what auspicious company. Hi, thank you for having me in this group. It's really nice to meet you both. Let's see. I made this documentary because it's not a happy story, but my mother passed away in 2012, and I discovered that grief was a hell of a lot more difficult than I'd ever anticipated. I'd read all of these books about the steps that you're supposed to go through, and I learned, as I said to my friends, that grief really doesn't have the ability to be linear. So I was struggling with a lot of things. I would be angry, and then I thought, oh, okay, well, we'll move on to sadness or bargaining or whatever comes next. It doesn't work that way. And which was news to me. And the thing that really helped me was running. And I started running every day. And it enabled me to stay vertical, to get up out of bed, to have something to look forward to every morning. And a couple months in, I started thinking, what age do I have to stop this? Like, is there an age where I have to hang up my sneakers and go, and play pinochle? Or am I going to mall walk later in life? Like, when do I have to stop this? And so I started doing research, and I learned that people were running in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. And first of all, I thought that was amazing because I think our country displays a level of ageism that a lot of other countries just don't. We don't seem to respect people as they age the same way other places in the world do. And I wanted to show people of a certain age doing something wildly impressive, not being cute, not being like the rapping grandma in an Adam Sandler movie. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I wanted to show them doing something spectacular. So I made the documentary, and I was inspired. And it started making me look at my own trajectory and how I want to age healthily and how I want to help others age healthily. And so I am an actor and a writer, and I'd written a script, and I was waiting for notes from the network, and they were taking a long time. And I have a very busy brain, so I signed up to take a class to be certified as a nutritionist because I'd read about other people doing it. Tig Notaro did it during the pandemic, and I thought it sounded fascinating. And I'm vegan, so it's something that I watch watch very, very closely what I need to supplement. And so I took this class, and now it's just kind of funny because now my sister's calling me going, exactly how much potassium do I need a day? So it actually was wonderful for no other reason than I can answer in a somewhat quasi-educated manner how people can help to take care of themselves. So it's just been, and I'm going to study it further because I'm fascinated by the concept of food as medicine and how we can help ourselves age healthily.
Actor and filmmaker Liz Vassey, thank you so much as always for your words. Lesley, you're next. You're the walking embodiment of the fitness lifestyle, positive messages that anything is possible. Talk to us about keeping in shape and your attitude that life can be fun at any age.
Well, it sounds, in a way, it's similar to Liz's story, how you set out trying to prove something and then you learn so much about it. I ended up being a personal trainer and doing whatever it was. I was in hospital actually, and I was sick with pneumonia. And at that time I was really frail. I was sort of in my late 40s. I was actually thin and frail because I was doing this dieting thing more so than watching what I was eating. It was more about weight loss and calories. And then I saw, as I was recovering on TV, there was a documentary and they were, talking about this bodybuilding show, and they had these women flexing on there and they were in high heels, a bit like Vegas, a bit like Ashton would like, that tall platform soles and lots of glitters and flexing and whatever. And I thought, I want to do that, even though I hadn't really learned how to train with weights. So I was in my late 40s, like I said, 49, I think. And I did my first competition where I trained in this bodybuilding gym, learned to lift weights, was on this diet. So I'd always thought I'd eaten clean, but I hadn't realized, I didn't know my macros, for instance, protein, fats, carbs. And when I learned I had to have X amount of protein a day, it was like, and you start sort of working it out without the scales. I just like to, count my macros like that. But in those days, I had to weigh everything because it was for comp. I ended up winning my first competition, which was a Victorian one, and then getting second in the nationals. And my coach at the time would put me in the masters, And after the first year, I thought, I don't like that. I'm going to go in the open. And I also didn't like the starvation diet I was on. And I said, if you want me back, I'm going to have to do my own diet and I want to go in the open. And they honestly thought I was a bit crazy, but they let me do it. And I ended up winning. I did about 10 shows in a row, and I ended up winning a world title in New York in the open and making the news and the current affair and being in heaps of shows and newspapers at the time, and like the current affair shows and whatever. And that sort of led me on to, and then I was cover of Oxygen magazine, which opened more doors. But then I went on to do another 30 competitions, and I kept doing the open all the time. And I just that was my thing. Go in the open, prove you're ageless, because unlike Liz, we don't like numbers. And Ashton, too, we discussed that. We don't like to be a certain age. Don't be an age. Be how you feel. Be strong and healthy. And, if you think about numbers, I'm sorry if I'm hogging too much time, but my birthday.
Okay, go ahead.
My birthday's on Valentine's Day, and everyone's always celebrating Valentine's Day, and I've never had a birthday, so never had a party, which is really good because I realised I didn't have an 18th, a 21st, and nothing, which is really good because I don't have an age in my head how old I am. I just be.
Well, so, before we move on, before we begin, you gave us a little of the bicep flexing for Ashton when she was here. Show our audience if you don't mind.
There's just a little bicep. And I have abs too, but I won't show those. I have to leave my dress on. And I have flexible pecs. See?
Lesley, you're an inspiration to us all. So are you, Liz. So are you, Ashton. Now let's move to Ashton. You perform a few hundred times a year on stage at the Luxor Hotel and Casino for the Female Revue Fantasy. Tell me about the importance of maintaining your physical and mental health so you can continue to have the career as one of Las Vegas's greatest performing artists.
That's a great question. I do. I'm in the show 6 nights a week, 52 weeks of a year. This week I celebrated my 14-year anniversary with Fantasy, which is fabulous. And Fantasy's been running for 25 years. So I'd like to stay another 25 if I could. It really is a whole body mind approach. I worked my entire life to become a professional dancer, and I would hate for my career to be shorter than it has to be. So, yes, as I get older, I need more and more recovery. I really do fuel my body. I don't count calories. I am a fellow vegan, which is great, but I eat a lot of whole foods. I love to cook. I make sure I eat enough food to actually get through the show. And I always grew up thinking that you could only be a professional dancer until like 30. And then I joined my show, and the women around me kept going and going and going and looking more and more fabulous and taking care of their body better and handling, the more mature you are, the more you know what your body can handle and you avoid injury. And so I'm one of the oldest in the show. I've made it so far. I'm 36. And I dance with 21-year-olds and 20-year-olds and 18-year-olds. And I feel like I bring a sense of balance to it. I warm up before the show. I eat a really great dinner. I cool down after the show, and I kind of treat my whole life almost like a performance.
Well, it is fabulous. It's always great to see you on stage at the Luxor Hotel and Casino, of course. Fantasy runs nightly at the Luxor Hotel and Casino. Okay, Liz, let me ask you now, why don't you talk to us about, let's now talk about relationships. Why don't you talk about how keeping in shape and running, how has that positively impacted your life in relationships?
In relationships specifically?
Relating to running and working out and staying in shape, yeah.
Yeah, a couple things. First of all, I am lucky enough to be married to a camera operator. So when I shot the documentary, I dragged my husband into it. And says that I'm kind of like, remember I Love Lucy, that I'm Lucy, and I keep dragging him into all sorts of things. And I was like, oh, you haven't seen anything yet. Because I got grandfathered into running the New York City Marathon. Since I shot a lot of footage for it, they said, hey, do you want to run it? And I said, absolutely. And I said, my husband would too. So I signed him up for the marathon, and he's not a runner. I mean, he works out and he has a very, very physical job, but he'd never, ever thought that he would run a marathon. And quite frankly, he kept thinking something would come up and he wouldn't have to. But we went through all of the training together, which was an incredible bonding experience, actually. I mean, we've been married for a very long time, but let me tell you, until you've run a 20-mile training run with somebody, you don't really know them. I mean, mile 18, 19, some stuff comes out that you never even thought about. So it was great in my primary relationship. As far as other relationships, one of the biggest things that I covered in the documentary was the whole idea of loneliness. I'd read a quote that loneliness was as dangerous for our physical and mental well-being, particularly physical, as smoking half a pack of cigarettes a day. Whether that's true or not, I have no idea. It is something that I read. But it really struck me. And so in my documentary about aging runners, I followed a group in Florida, and it was women who met every day to run. And what it gave them was a social circle. And in some cases, they were widows. In some cases, they just moved there. All of them needed a friend. And I just thought it was spectacular that that's how they got to find people in their lives who were some of their biggest relationships at this point. And it gave them accountability. They had to show up to meet for somebody else. So I've seen firsthand what that can do. Also, I just think socially, I work out every day of my life. It is a great part of my mental health. It's something that it's like brushing my teeth. It's something I just automatically do. And as I get older, I think hopefully that inspires some people like my sister, like friends. You don't have to do an hour run. You don't have to do an hour on the bike. You can walk around the block. You can take the stairs instead of the elevator. There are little things that you can do every day. And so I try to walk that walk to help my friend circle. Just realize there are little ways, I think they're referred to as exercise snacks that you can do throughout the day, and that it'll help you in numerous ways. So I think those are the main ways that it's affected me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Liz. Lesley, back to you. Can you talk to me about how you lead your life in fitness and how that can lead to having happy, healthy, and fun relationships?
Well, it's a bit what Liz is saying. It's a mental thing. When I train, it's not just for my physical self. It's my mental self. It's how I, handle any if I'm anxious or whatever, which can happen sometimes. I'm like a racehorse in a stable that needs to get out. Have you ever seen a racehorse in a stable? They sort of duck and they get nervous. They want to go out for a run. I don't run, actually, Liz. Sorry, I lift.
Oh, no.
I feel like I'm the opposite to you in a way. I'm like full on, almost carnivore. I've got a new diet coming out called Carnivore with a Carb, where I'm like, I have 6 whole eggs a day, and like it's just a bit different. And I lift weights, so we're both doing our things and both into health. But it's amazing how those two are quite different, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, just for the record, I don't proselytize veganism. I think it works for different people and for other people.
Absolutely, yes, and I don't push.
Good on you. You're doing something right for yourself, clearly.
Exactly. I'm not pushing my thing on either. I'm just saying we're both passionate about what we do, and they get to the same place where it's a mental, healthy thing, but we do it in a different way. So, yeah, and that's why I like the training. And what was the rest of the question, Chris? Sorry.
Just how living your life can lead to having happy, healthy, and fun relationships.
Yes, it can indeed. I mean, I have different relationships, even with the people I train, my clients. I honestly love them all. It's like I'm going to write another book called Confessions on the Leg Press, because everyone, they'll share their stories when they're training. I'm sure it's such a great mental release as well. And it helps with different, my private relationships, I'm a bit, I've been married 3 times. I don't know if that's a good thing. Anyway, I could write another thing on that.
I think I would sum this up, because you've been on before and we've had a lot of conversations like I have with Ashton and Liz as well. Lesley, you've lived a fun life and you're still having fun.
I am indeed, and I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, it's been really a blast.
Oh, there's no denying that. Ashton, how has dancing and pursuing your artistic ambitions helped you in your relationships?
I think first off, the relationship with myself. Like, I love myself. I am so proud of what I've done, and I've been able to just focus on pursuing my dreams. And to love other people, you have to love yourself. So I love myself first, and then the dance community, especially in Las Vegas, is very small, very tight knit. We all know each other. It's a lot of women. I love working with women. I'm so proud to see how far we've come, and to watch people's journey moving out of performance into different management roles or CEOs or entrepreneurs. Like, I'm constantly inspired by the people in my life. And also relationship-wise, I've been married for 8 years, and he's incredibly wonderful. And I think one of the things that drew us to each other is we both pursued our dreams almost single-mindedly, really. And I find that's inspirational to each other.
No denying that. Before we get to our last question, and I know Liz is going to have something great to say about this, and I'm sure both of you will also have something to say. Do you feel that society is unfair to women by overly focusing on both appearance and age? Liz, go first.
Oh my God, yes, absolutely. Every single thing I see online, it's she's too heavy, she's too thin, she's too this, she's too that, she shouldn't do this. After this certain age, you shouldn't dress like that. I mean, my God, it's unbelievable. Yes. Nothing angers me. That's not true, but a lot of things can't anger me as quickly as looking at something like that. And I think that we're going to have to change within. I think women have to support women. I think women have to. Just the other day, somebody was complaining to me about how short somebody's skirt was. I was like, let her wear the friggin' skirt. Who cares? She looks fantastic. Women, do whatever the hell you want to do. Keep your hair long, however you want to. I mean, it's just, I get so tired of reading these rules, because who made them? It's just other human beings. So unmake them and do whatever the hell you want. That's my take.
I knew that you would be able to lead the group here. So, I just knew Liz is going to have something good to say about that. Lesley, thoughts?
I definitely agree. We should be ageless. Like, look after your health, number one, I would say, because if you're feeling great, well, then you can do what you wouldn't want to be in a situation where you're unwell and you're, feel yourself getting older. That would rob you of your confidence if you had back issues or weight issues or knee issues, whatever. But you can do so much for your health, which makes you feel younger. And feeling younger isn't just an egotistical thing. Just you're less of a burden to other people if you look after yourself as well. Like, be the best version of you. Do what you can do to make your body strong and healthy, and then you can enjoy life. And it's much nicer to feel like that rather than feel another birthday, another age. What am I supposed to be doing at this age? I don't watch TV partly for that reason, because if I happen to turn it on when I'm trying to get to Netflix or whatever, it'll have something, like women over 50, it makes them just look terrible, like old, or they're suffering in some way. And I think we are very ageist these days, and I think we need to stop that and break the barriers and, be ourselves, be strong, healthy, and ageless.
Oh, I agree with that. I mean, Liz will appreciate this. I mean, when I was, I believe, 22 years old, I interviewed Ernest Borgnine, Hollywood legend, at 91, and was grateful. I mean, it's like, we should never write out people, I mean, as long as they're here. Every one of us has. We just had on Ruta Lee, who just celebrated her 90th birthday, who grew up with Marilyn Monroe and Frank Sinatra. Ashton, thoughts on what we're talking about before we move on?
Me? Sorry, cut out. Yeah, absolutely. It's tough being a woman. And I've had to deprogram myself, all of these limiting beliefs about what I should look like and be like as I age. And I think one of the things I do try to focus on, because I do work with a lot of very young women, is trying to be a role model and not say the negative things like, oh, I'm so old, I don't understand what you're talking about, or to negate their experiences or talk down to them, but just treat everyone ageless and like the strong, fabulous women that they are, and then prove every day that I think things just get better. I feel better in my own skin now than ever before. So,
well, I hope you get to dance in fantasy as long as you want
too.
to, and I hope you get to call it when you want to, like athletes do, and Michael Jordan and all the greats. Okay, guys, we're going to talk about professional ambitions and accomplishments. Liz, we'll start with you. We live in a world where we must earn money, of course. Talk to me what it's been like to work as both an actor and filmmaker, and how you have achieved what you've achieved in Hollywood.
I've been incredibly fortunate. I mean, I've worked my ass off. I've also been incredibly fortunate, and I think it has to be a marriage of the two. It's something, isn't there some sort of quote about how it's amazing how lucky I was once I did all the work, like it just has to be, it has to be both. I started acting when I was basically a fetus. I was 9 years old. I had been in the hospital for a long time when I was 2, and I had gone in gregarious, and I came out very, very shy. And I saw my sister in a play when I was 9, and I thought, I want to try that. And my mother was like, oh, dear God, she was very, very concerned that I would get up on stage and just fold. And I ended up singing for Oliver, to be part of a company doing Oliver. And I got the role of Oliver, and they needed a girl to hit the high notes. And it was transformative. And I felt like, oh, I don't know how to express myself as me, but I know how to express myself like this. And so I did 50 musicals between the ages of 9 and 16, literally 50. I was not very popular in high school, but I did dinner theater around Florida where I grew up. And then I got on a soap when I was 16, and I was off the soap by the time I was 18. And when I came out to LA, I'd had a lot of experience on camera at the age of 18, which was rare. And so I ended up being able to segue into prime time. And, it has been a wonderful ride. I got to write an episode while I was on CSI, which then helped me pivot to writing, which I've been doing for the last 10 years predominantly. I'm still acting, but I'm writing mostly for television. It is interesting. Right now, I will say that the industry is more challenging than it's ever been after 2 strikes and a pandemic. It is unlike anything I've ever seen before. And I feel like I've been in this industry for 107 years. So that's saying something. It's challenging, and a lot of people are leaving. And I hope that it comes back to being less run by fear than it is right now. It's feeling very corporate right now. So I'm hoping that it sort of bounces back and becomes a little more what we were used to. I'm hoping things start shooting here in LA specifically, but in this country too. So, but this is what it is. I didn't pick a day job at an office for a reason. So it's been a very interesting ride, and I wouldn't change a thing.
Liz, just in short, before I move on to Lesley, are we going to get a Human Race 2, yes or no?
I think people keep asking me about that. I keep getting letters from runners who want to be in it. So very possibly. I mean, honestly, it is. And again, this is saying something. It's the hardest I've ever worked. I produced it. I directed it. I sat in on every editing session. I raised the money for it. I did all the post-production. So it's going to take a bigger team this time. I don't know that I'd put myself through the same thing, but if I can assemble that team of documentary version of the Avengers, then sure, I would do it.
There's a lot of great runners and a lot of great stories here in Las Vegas. Please, if you do, let us know. We'd love to help, of course. Okay, Lesley, moving along, tell me what it's like to work as a personal trainer.
It's fantastic. I love it. I love it because it's very rewarding watching people become stronger and better, healthier versions of themselves and more confident, and helping them along their journey like that. The mornings can be a bit rough, as Ashton and I were speaking about earlier, getting up early when I like staying up late. So I do start fairly early. I work here where I live in the gym. I live in one of the tallest buildings in Melbourne, the second tallest. And I catch the elevator to work. So I sort of go down, train someone, come up, eat, go down, that sort of thing. And then I work in a second gym where I can't train the residents. And that one, you get more professional people coming in. But here has been a great thing because I get everyday people that just live in this tower and they end up having me as a trainer. And it's really rewarding and nice getting to know what normal people are thinking and what level of fitness they're at. So I do that. And then these days, and since the pandemic, we had to do, or I did, a lot online. So now I have online as well. So I get calls and, do video calls and that from all over the world, really, which can mean odd hours, because our time's different to Australia, of course. So I do that. So yes, I'm quite busy with all three. And then I'm coming out with a new ebook. I'm just working on that. And I've got 2-3 other books I've written. So I do stay really busy in the industry I love. And I wouldn't miss a session myself. I am I like to be an example, but I wouldn't have it any other way. So, and just a little thing, because we were talking about age and that sort of thing. Occasionally, I do have those tests done where they, you hold on and they measure your bone density, muscle mass, whatever. And the maximum it can be when it comes back is I think 20 years younger than your age, biological, chronological age. And I always come back on the, the most amount of years. I'm not saying appearance. I'm not saying I look. I'm just saying what's going on the inside with bone density, muscle mass, whatever, which is proof that it comes back, X amount of years, 20 years younger, because it helps with sarcopenia, osteoporosis, all of those things that we want to avoid. So that's what I like. And it's so rewarding and I get to train a lot of people. So yeah, I'm doing what I love.
Lesley Maxwell.fitness on Instagram for everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Ashton, finally, why don't you reflect upon, what it's like for you professionally? Now you're doing more behind the scenes besides dancing on stage. What's that like? Sum it all up for me.
Sure. Very recently, I transitioned from being a dancer in the show to dancing in the show and also being the performance director. So I teach the show to new dancers, singers, and aerialists coming in. I coordinate with our union crew on light and sound. I'm the eyes and ears for our fabulous producer every night. The transition was really tough. From small administrative things to I've never had an Outlook email, I've never done Excel sheets, to just changing my view of focusing from myself to big picture. One of the things, my strengths that I bring to the table is I love to take care of people. So my cast, I'm able to put them first. And as long as they're safe, healthy, and happy, they're going to perform to the best of their ability. And it's been wonderful. I was never quite sure what I was going to do after I was done dancing. Everyone has to have a second wave, and I just never was sure. But now I know that whatever direction it is, it's going to involve some kind of mentorship, some kind of teaching, some kind of opening the door for the next person.
Oh, no denying that. Again, you can see Ashton, of course, 6 nights a week at Fantasy at the Luxor Hotel and Casino. Ashton, before we finish, times when people can see the show.
Sure. The show is every night at 10:30 and 2 shows on Sunday, 8 o'clock and 10:30.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. So for actor and filmmaker Liz Vassey, fit personal trainer Lesley Maxwell in Australia. Thank you for getting up early with us today, Lesley. We really appreciate that. And of course, great dancer, Las Vegas star Ashton Bray. Thank you all for being today on CYInterview and hang on with me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Chris.